On behalf of the American Ceramic Society, the journal editorial team, and our publishing partner Wiley, I welcome you to the virtual journal manuscript workshop, Writing to be Published, Found, and Read. Please take a moment to download the workshop materials from the website shown here. Getting published and cited are very important to career growth, especially for young researchers. Your articles and citations represent you to the current and future collaborators, funders, and employers. There are many steps in the process of getting cited, and you must strive to delight your audience at each step, including your advisor or supervisor, journal editors and reviewers, search engines, and the scientific and engineering community. This workshop touches on all the steps shown here and focuses on the things you can do to A. Have your article stand out and be found in the ever more crowded scientific record, and B. Write your abstract as a compelling story that encourages fellow researchers to read your article. First things first, all aspects of research and publishing must be done ethically to maintain trust within the scientific community. At its most basic, publication ethics means that you are accurately reporting your own work while giving appropriate credit to your collaborators and to those whose work yours is built upon. Not following ethics guidelines can jeopardize your career. The good news is that there are many resources available to help you understand publications ethics, including journal editorial teams who are glad to answer your questions. Getting published starts with a good story, which is another way of saying a clear and interesting report of your research. The writing must be clear. The research must be sound and present something new and significant. And that good story must be sent to the right journal. Each journal has specific acceptance criteria spelled out in its aims and scopes. Writing to be understood has two aspects: focus and language clarity. Focus means telling the story directly and with enough detail to keep the reader moving forward with your good story. Too much information, on the other hand, is distracting. Readers who want more details will contact the corresponding author and request the new information. For better or for worse, English is now the dominant language for scientific journals. That wasn't always true, and it may change again someday. But for now, good English usage and grammar are required. If you're not proficient in English, work with someone who is, or consult a service. After checking the language usage, the editors compare the manuscript to the aims and scopes of the journal. A manuscript that doesn't match the aims and scopes is sure to be rejected. Aims and scopes have three main categories. 1. Specific area of content or topic, such as targeted materials, properties, performance, processing methods. ACT, for example, focuses on advanced ceramics. A manuscript on another material type is likely to be rejected or possibly referred to another ACerS journal. 2. Level of research or stage of development. Each stage has value, but each journal has specific criteria. ACerS, for example, focuses on highly novel fundamental science studies, while ACT and IJAGS focus on moving forward from fundamental studies towards production. IJCES publishes work at any stage of research, including supplemental categories such as education. 3. Depth. The graphic here provides some insight. As with levels of research, each of these stages has value and is publishable in the right journal. And if you publish the early findings in one journal, your later and deeper findings, which are built upon this early work, can, and should cite your early publications. The American Ceramic Society publishes 4 journals, providing opportunities to report research spanning the breadth and depth of the diverse ceramics community. The flyer shown here provides insights into the aims and scopes of each of our journals. We recommend downloading this flyer as a guide for submitting your manuscript to the journal most closely aligned to your work. The PDF is found at ceramics.org/which-journal_flyer. Up to this point, we have provided broad insights into how content and language influence your likelihood of getting published. In this next section, we provide specific advice on how to structure the title and abstract of your manuscripts to be found and read. You can have the most groundbreaking data and analysis in your field, but it will get read by the right people only when it's indexed correctly, thus found by the right people, and when the title and abstract grab their attention. Now remember, to be cited, you must make a positive impression on your audience. So let's shift gears a little bit and think about how we find and read our journal articles. First off, we start by searching in our favorite search engines using keywords. This returns a series of titles and maybe part of an abstract depending on the search engine. You scan through this list of information, you click to read more. If the abstract seems interesting, you'll then go further, read the introduction and the conclusions, and check to make sure the article itself is relevant to your work. Once it passes that check, you'll then dive deeply into the details of the research. This is the heart of the matter. This contains the information that will be cited. Once you get through that, you'll go back and take a look at the bibliography. Is the work built on a solid foundation? Where can I get more information? Well, your readers, they do the same thing. Thus, well-written titles and abstracts encourage readers to move forward. Therefore, article titles and abstracts must be written with forethought and with purpose. Consider now that first step, the search for keywords. I recently searched for the keyword lead-free. Limiting the search to articles published by ACerS journals in the past 5 years resulted in 2,406 hits. No way am I looking at 2,400 titles. I may look at the first 2 to 3 pages. I'll probably go back and refine my search and look again. But in honesty, I'm probably not going past 2 or 3 pages. So if your article isn't within those first few pages, it's simply not going to be found. And if it's not found, it's not going to be read. Do you ever wonder how search engines rank the articles in their lists? While there is a bit of mystery to their algorithms, there are a few basic rules that can help you move your article up in the list. Search engine optimization is the process of writing to follow these rules, and, as it says, keywords are key, and they must be used appropriately. Otherwise, your article winds up lower in the index, or in the wrong index altogether. What makes a good title? Titles must be interesting and informative to catch the interest of the reader. As it says in the quotation, an explicit title can help get you citation because of the way in which scientists look for relative literature to cite. But consider your second audience. You're writing for those search engines, and search engines only read the first 50 to 60 characters of your title. Thus, your most important keywords should come first. In addition, avoid generic terms such as analysis or comparison. These things, they're understood, and they use up characters without really improving the article positioning. Remove them whenever possible. Here are some example titles. The first one shown is good. It contains keywords, none of the extra things, quick to the point, solid for both readers and for SEO. Second one, well, it's vague. What do you mean by some measurements? What type are they? It just does not provide enough information. The third, on the other hand, provides too much, that people don't search on all of these keywords. And by having ones that are this long, you'll lose your audience. Now, while that first title is good, there are ways to make titles more interesting. These two titles are from articles published by renowned authors. They get your attention, and they're keyword rich. The first one, Nanostructures and Nano-Nothingness. What is Nano-Nothingness? It's a nice play on words. The second, very informative, an assessment of bulk metallic glasses for micromechanical systems devices. Tells you exactly what it is, short and to the point. But notice that the last one starts with an assessment of. Would removing these words affect the title? Let's take a look at it, and what do you think? Let's work together on an exercise for improving your title, both for readers and for SEO. Let's start with our title that was too specific and too long. First step is take a look and make sure you have included all of the most important keywords with the title. From the information given here, I've identified the keywords of high temperature, electrical conductivity, alkaline earth vanadate glasses, and doped. That's the best I can do with the information I have here. You, of course, will have the information available in your specific article. So let's see how we can arrange these words into a title. In our first example, I've created a keyword-rich title. It's a little bit long at 75 characters, but that's okay. Here are two more options. Both of them put the material first. And whether you choose alkaline earth vanadate glasses or doped vanadate glasses is up to you. Which is the most important aspect of your work? That most important aspect is what you want to emphasize at the beginning. Give the readers what they need to know quickly and easily so they'll go and look at your abstract. Now that we've gone through titles, time to move on to abstracts. Linguistic studies have shown that people remember the beginning and end of a paragraph more than the middle. Using a sandwich structure, therefore, makes abstracts take advantage of that information. So, we start by getting attention. Be explicit about the goal. What was most important? In the middle, explain how you explored your work. What are the key materials, measurements, models, processes, outcomes, etc.? Only the most important details. And at the end, explain why this is important. What are the benefits to the audience, the community, and or society as a whole? And, as we've discussed already for search engine optimization, keywords are key, but don't overdo it. Take your 3 to 4 most important keywords and repeat them 2 to 4 times each within the abstract. Now it's time to take a look at an example of a well-formed abstract. Step 1. What was most important? This is the hypothesis and what's new and significant. They have demonstrated a specific process and it has some benefit. Step 2. Provide sufficient background to let the reader know what was done. So solutions were prepared, here's what the solutions were made of, and here's some critical initial results. So again, enough information to whet the appetite, but not so much as to get lost in details. Step 3, benefits, why it's important. And so in this particular case, they get a twofer. Not only did they lower the cost, but they also improve the properties. And that's a rarity, and that's really important and makes it very interesting. Okay, we've seen that the abstract is well written for human readers. Now let's take a look at how it is for search engines. And by that we mean keywords. The first keyword is microwave assisted. This is the most important aspect of the production method being researched, and it appears 3 times. Superconductor is the type or class of materials being researched, and it is very likely to be a search term. It appears twice. YbCO is the shortened chemical formula for the specific superconductor. It appears 4 times. And precursor. Precursor is the format being produced in this method, and it appears 5 times. In summary, the abstract is well written for humans, and it is also optimized for search engines. Now it's your turn. We will go through 4 exercises to help you hone your title and abstract writing skills. The presentation itself contains the exercises. However, we recommend that you download the worksheets if you have not already done so. Because the worksheets are in Microsoft Word format, you can type right on them, or you can print them out and write your answers. The worksheets also contain extra information that can be helpful, especially for the revising the abstracts exercises in exercise 3 and 4. Exercise 1. The purpose of this exercise is to get you used to going back into the work you've done and checking for the keywords. So for this exercise, identify the keywords in the title and the abstract shown here. If you have downloaded the worksheets, you can circle them. If you've printed out, you can highlight them in typing, or you can simply write out the keywords. If you need more time, please feel free to pause the video now. So let's compare what you came up with what the editors came up with. The editors came up with the words that are highlighted, which are electrocaloric, temperature, hysteresis, and ferroelectric. You should note, though, however, that ferroelectric is not in the title. Let's then check the number of times each is used. In the abstract, I should say. Electrocaloric is used 3 times. Ferroelectric is used twice. Hysteresis is used 3 times. And temperature is used 3 times. So we have 4 keywords, each used between 2 and 4 times within the abstract. Excellent for search engine optimization. In a final note, the article itself, which you didn't have, but we had the luxury of being able to look at, mentioned the word lead-free. And, well, as we know, there's strong efforts out there to remove lead from electronics. The RoHS standard requires that all lead be removed. And so any article that deals with lead-free should probably consider having lead-free as one of its keywords. Workshop Exercise 2, Revising Titles. Shown here is the title from Workshop Exercise 1. It's just fine. It contains most of the keywords, though not ferroelectric. It is a little bit long, but it does read well and it contains good information. But as with any good title, they can be improved, especially when we think about the search engine optimization. And so that's your task. Your task is to revise this, keeping in mind that the first 60 characters are what are read by the search engines. And so how do you want to organize it? How do you want to put those most important keywords first and have as much in there as possible? In a minute, the pause video now sign will come on, at which point you should pause the video, take your time to revise the title, and restart the video when you're ready to go. Here are 4 possible title revisions. To help you out, the first 60 characters are bolded. There is no perfect title, and you have leeway as the author, considering what you want the researchers to search on in order to find your paper. Put those keywords first and avoid unnecessary words in order to keep your title short, yet interesting. Exercises 3 and 4. In exercises 3 and 4, you'll be revising abstracts. If you have not already done so, please download the worksheets. They are in Word format, which allow you to type your answers, or you can print them out and write on them. On the next pages, you'll be given the titles and the abstracts. The worksheets, by the way, have additional information. They have the keywords and the conclusions, and this information can be quite helpful. The abstracts that you are given are acceptable for publication, but they can be improved. Your task then is to revise the two abstracts to be read both by your colleagues and by search engines. So let's start with that last point. For search engines, keywords, keywords, keywords. Using the available information, determine what are the most important 3 to 5 keywords. The keywords given by the exercise may or may not be the most important ones, and that's a situation you may find yourself in when you go to revise your own manuscripts. Step 2, organize that information into our 3 categories. The first category, the hypothesis, the statement, tell the people what it is they're about to read. Second is the instructions, or what you've done, and a little bit of the most important information that you've gotten out of it. And then step 3, why is it important? It's possible that you will not have all the information you want to get into these 3 categories. Just do the best you can with what you have. Step 3, connect these 3 concepts into a draft. Write and connect the 3 categories into a single paragraph. Make sure your sentences include the most important keywords 2 to 4 times each. Once you have written your draft, reread it to make sure you've written an interesting and compelling story. As with the titles, there is no right answer here. Finally, previous students have found it useful to see how the editors would revise these abstracts. So after each exercise, the revised abstracts with notes are given that explain the editor's thoughts. Please don't look ahead. No cheating. Workshop Exercise 3. This is the first of our abstracts. Please take your time and read through it. Identify the keywords, identify the important concepts, organize them according to the instructions. Please pause the video now, take your time to rewrite your abstract, and when you're done, please restart the video. Welcome back. What you have here is the editor's revision of the previous abstract. The editor has also included some notes, which are available on the next slide, as well as in the worksheets. Rather than go through these all one by one, I'll show a few highlights. Highlight number 1, looking at the structure, the first section, that major statement, is our first sentence. The middle section, originally, according to the editor, was written not in that concise, what did we do, what were the key results, but instead was read more like a step-by-step of we did A, we did B, we did C, we did E, without really any context. And so the sentence that is read, the best mechanical properties were achieved for a composite consisting of fine ABCO grains. That provides some context, and it is a trick you should use as you write your abstracts. And as you read through this, and even in our revision, you'll note that there really isn't a concluding statement. And the editor notes that with highlight E. And the editor states, add a sentence at the end of the abstract to concisely summarize the overall outcome of the study. What was learned that makes the paper a good fit with the scope of the journal? Try to use ferrite and zirconia, in this case, in the overall conclusion statement. Okay? So, again, reread this, compare it to your own. Editor's notes are available on the next page. So here are the editor's notes for exercise 3. You can pause the video now if you wish to read through them, or you can come back to them later. Workshop exercise 4. By now you're becoming a bit of a pro at this. I only have one item to point out, and that is precursor in italics is used in place of a specific trade name used in this study. Other than that, do what you're doing, identify those keywords, identify the major concepts, organize them, and let's see how you do. Please stop the video now, write your abstract, and restart it when you're ready to go. And here we have the editor's version of the abstract for workshop exercise 4. Much like the abstract of exercise 3, the original version of this abstract was more a list of the experiments and the results. The editor rewrote the abstract into the suggested structure, which is color-coded here to help you visualize the 3 sections. The purpose of this article are the development of a new processing method and comparing the new method with the conventional method. That is emphasized here with a summary of the new method. In the previous version, the authors led off with the rheological testing. While that was important, it is not the headline. Section 2 describes the test and important findings. Conditions were set, the effects of heat treatment uncovered, and the test coupons were fabricated. Section 3 defines the benefits of this new method to the community. The editor specifically included revisions to the keywords. 2 keywords, microstructure and silicon carbide, were not mentioned in the title or abstract, and probably should be removed, as they won't attract the right audience. In addition, 2 words should probably be added, as they are critical to the work presented, and those are heat treatment and B staging. While we're on the note page, I want to point out item B here, terms versus initials. So when you're looking at terms versus using initials or acronyms or abbreviations, there are some things to keep in mind. First, when it's a keyword, and ceramic matrix composite was one of the keywords, or it's an uncommon acronym within the community, GPC, you should really spell out the term before the acronym. And especially with keywords, you should spell out the keyword at least one more time in the abstract. When you use abbreviations that are commonplace within the community, TGA in this example, there's no need to spell it out. Do want to make a note, GPC was not defined in the original abstract or the conclusions. This came from the editor's knowledge of the field, which is also an important point. Don't assume that everybody in the field might know some things if you're not certain. Thank you very much for attending our virtual journal writing workshop. This workshop will be available for you to come back and visit, and we welcome you to do so at your leisure. For more information, please contact us via our website, ceramics.org/event-subpage/journal-publishing-workshops, or our journal hub on the Wiley system, ceramics.onlinelibrary.wiley.com, which is the entry point to our 4 journals for reading our wonderful articles available to you. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you at our next workshop.